Hello everyone and welcome to an electrifying night of pure speed, raw tension, and strategic precision under the glowing lights of the Bahrain International Circuit. We are moments away from the qualifying session that will shape the grid for the fourth round of the 2025 Formula One World Championship, and the atmosphere could not be more intense. The engines are humming, the grandstands are buzzing, and the pressure is mounting for every single driver on the grid. Things are already unraveling for Oliver Bearman. His latest flying lap was far from ideal, riddled with misjudgments and a lack of precision that cost him valuable tenths. He heads back out, desperate to make amends, pushing the limits of grip and nerve, but the stopwatch is unforgiving. He only manages to climb up to 13th place, which, in this fiercely competitive field, leaves him exposed. A vulnerable position at best, a looming elimination at worst. It's a bitter twist of fate for Bearman. Just one race ago, he was celebrating his first-ever entry into Q3. Now, the reality check hits hard. Making matters worse, his former rival from Formula 2, last season's F2 champion Gabriel Bortolito, is on a mission. He surges forward with a strong lap, overtaking Bearman and claiming the 12th position. The psychological blow is almost as harsh as the lap time itself. Meanwhile, another driver trying to salvage something is Lance Stroll. He improves, but not by much. His new time places him in 14th. Not in the clear, not in the drop zone either. He's walking a razor's edge. Bearman's position grows more precarious by the second. The bottom five is becoming a trap and he's sinking into it. Then comes Isack Hadjar, a driver who, despite the pressure of expectations and the burden of a fast car, keeps delivering when it matters most. He hooks up a clean, aggressive lap and shoots up to 5th place. That's a statement. Under fire, Hadjar thrives. He is not just surviving, he is imposing himself. Amid all this action, a curious message flashes on the timing feed. There's speculation that Max Verstappen may have breached track limits, all four wheels off the circuit at turn 15. If confirmed by race control, his lap time will be struck off. But there's no replay yet, and no official word, so we continue with what's unfolding on track. Verstappen, a titan of modern Formula One, is visibly uncomfortable. Not quite in the zone tonight. He's fighting the car, struggling to find rhythm. The man who delivered a clinic in Suzuka now finds himself battling to escape Q1. But he digs deep and posts a time that lifts him to 3rd. It's not dominant, but it's enough. For now. Yuki Tsunoda, meanwhile, is under enormous pressure. This is only his second weekend as part of the senior Red Bull team, and expectations are sky high. But pressure breeds performance in elite sport, and Tsunoda shows his worth. He crosses the line and grabs 11th place. Just what he needed. The list of drivers eliminated begins to take shape. Liam Lawson is out. So are Bortolito, Stroll, and Bearman. But one more duel remains. Nico Hülkenberg versus Alex Albon. Albon, a steady hand and consistent point scorer all season, is now staring into the abyss. He pushes the car to its limits, every sector a test of nerves. He crosses the line. It's an improvement. 14th place. He's not safe, but he's still alive. Fernando Alonso, as cunning and precise as ever, chooses the perfect moment to deliver his lap. He slots into 12th, and in doing so knocks out his former teammate Esteban Ocon. It's a symbolic shift as much as a strategic one. And just when the dust seemed ready to settle, chaos strikes. Esteban Ocon loses the rear end in the early part of the lap. He's pushing hard through turn 1, but it all unravels on the exit of turn 2. The car snaps, balance evaporates, and he runs wide onto the curb. The rear never settles. He slides off and taps the barrier. The impact isn't brutal, but it's more than enough to end his session. The camera pans to the aftermath, carbon fiber scattered, Ocon's head low inside the cockpit. Over the team radio, his voice comes through, heavy with frustration. "Yes, I'm okay. "I'm really sorry, guys. I'm so sorry." The team reassures him. Physically, he's unharmed. But the emotional toll is visible. In a matter of seconds, a promising session turned into a disappointing exit. And so, as the opening chapter of qualifying concludes, we're reminded once again of how merciless Formula One can be. Glimmers of brilliance, devastating errors, and relentless competition. This is the theater of motorsport at its most raw. Q2 and Q3 await, and with them, more chances, more heartbreak, and maybe, just maybe, a few surprises. Let's keep watching. The night is just getting started. And just like that, another twist in this ever-evolving drama. Yuki Tsunoda crosses the finish line and rockets up to 6th position, an impressive lap when it mattered most. But there's no time for celebration. Tsunoda, aware of the storm brewing behind him, immediately veers off the racing line, making space for a flood of drivers launching into their hot laps. The clock is ticking, the track is evolving, and every fraction of a second now carries massive weight. One of those charging drivers is Nico Hülkenberg. He's on a mission. As things stand, he's sitting on the bubble in 10th place, but not for long. Lewis Hamilton, ever the predator when opportunity arises, storms through the final corner and posts a lap good enough for 5th, shuffling Hülkenberg down a notch to 11th. The Haas driver now finds himself under immense pressure, back in the elimination zone, as faster cars light up the timing screens. And here comes Pierre Gasly, in the Alpine, turning heads with a blazing middle sector. In fact, it's the quickest middle sector of anyone so far. Meanwhile, Isack Hadjar is clinging to hopes of a Q3 return. He's been a fixture in the top 10 for the last couple of rounds and refuses to bow out quietly. He crosses the line with determination and lands himself in 8th place. He's not just holding on, he's fighting back. The Alpine, it must be said, looks ferociously quick this weekend. Gasly, continuing to build on that speed, outpaces the McLaren in Sector 2, a telling sign. He's been languishing at the back of the grid in the previous 2 races, so to see him flying now is nothing short of remarkable. From backmarker to front-runner, Gasly completes his lap and vaults into 3rd place. A staggering turnaround. Max Verstappen, who desperately needed a clean, track limits-compliant lap, delivers under pressure. He puts in a tidy run and slots into 7th, squeezing himself between the 2 Ferraris. It's a calculated, methodical move from the reigning champion. Tsunoda, however, has slipped down to 9th, and suddenly the Japanese driver is in dangerous territory once again. With the entire field pushing hard, and only Hadjar and Esteban Ocon not currently improving, Tsunoda's position is far from secure, even though he's only 0.2 behind Verstappen. What's fascinating in all of this is watching how momentum swings between teams. Alpine, which had been struggling at the back of the pack in earlier races, now looks revitalized. There's a particular confidence in Gasly's driving, a sense that the car is finally responding the way he wants it to. And that, more than anything, is what allows a driver to attack the corners, to take risks, to be brave. Let's not pretend McLaren isn't pushing hard right now. They are. Every single driver is digging deep. Gasly, meanwhile, is holding on to 3rd place. Carlos Sainz has just climbed up to 6th, leading the Williams drivers for the first time this season. The Ferrari driver continues to show sharp instincts and racecraft. Back to Hülkenberg, he's using every inch of tarmac, and then some. Exiting the corner wide, trying to wrestle more time out of the car, but he just doesn't have the grip. It's not enough. He only manages 13th. Now comes Zhou Guanyu, still in the hunt for a coveted Q3 spot. He pushes to the limit, his lap time improving steadily, but he falls short by a whisper. He ends up 11th. Close, but not enough. With time expired, it's game over for a handful of names. Isack Hadjar makes it through. But Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, and Esteban Ocon, who earlier had that costly incident, are all out. And then there's George Russell. The Mercedes man is flying. He crosses the line and obliterates his teammates' time by over a second. He's now the benchmark, the provisional pole sitter, throwing down the gauntlet to the rest of the field. Oscar Piastri is the next to finish his lap. He's been lurking under the radar, but now he leaps forward, up to 10th, right on the limit, enough for a spot in Q3 for now. But then the standings shuffle again. As it stands, Piastri now holds provisional pole, an impressive display of poise and precision. The focus now shifts to the championship leader, Lando Norris. All eyes are on him. He's been relentless this season, and tonight is no exception. He begins his lap with intent, carries speed through every apex, and crosses the line, third place. Not pole, but he's right in the fight. So at this stage, the top three are Oscar Piastri, George Russell, and Lando Norris. And it's eerily reminiscent of the starting grid we saw just a couple of races ago in China. The script may be different, but the cast is strikingly familiar. And now, all attention turns to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. The young Italian prodigy, just 18 years old, carries a weight of expectation beyond his years. Both of his Mercedes teammates have set blistering times. He's under pressure, but he's not backing down. The camera follows his car as it surges toward the finish line. Antonelli pushes hard through the final sector, knowing every hundredth matters. His lines are aggressive, the car twitching but controlled, and as he rockets out of the last corner, the crowd rises in anticipation. Here comes the rising star of Italian motorsport. Over the line he goes. What can the teenage sensation deliver? The answer is coming. And just like that, the clock ticks down to the final moments of an absolutely electric qualifying session in Bahrain. The tension is thick, the air is buzzing with anticipation, and it's Oscar Piastri who delivers a 1 minute and 32 seconds, good enough to snatch provisional pole position. But nothing is secure just yet. Behind him, George Russell is on a rampage. The Mercedes man is flying, and everyone knows it. The track where he once made his sensational debut for the Silver Arrows seems to be feeding his rhythm. His pace is scorching, relentless, and utterly dialed in. Russell's first sector is clean and aggressive. In contrast, Lando Norris falters early. His opening sector is disappointing. He's already lost a quarter of a second to Russell. Not the start the championship leader was hoping for. There's ground to make up, and fast. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton crosses the line and jumps to 5th position. It's not the front row, but it's solid. Behind him, Charles Leclerc, ever the artist around the Bahrain circuit, goes on the attack. The Ferrari man has always had a special connection with this track. He dances through the corners, surgically precise, and now eyes a spot on the front row. His effort is superb. He catapults himself into the top three. A reminder that when the Ferrari is hooked up, Leclerc can still punch with the heavyweights. Further drama unfolds as reigning world champion Max Verstappen sets off on his lap. He's not had the cleanest session, but he's pushing now. Sector 1 is average. Sector 2 isn't sparkling. And when he finally crosses the line, it's only good enough for 7th. 7th. For the defending champ. That's not what Red Bull had in mind tonight. At the same time, Pierre Gasly is flying under the radar and overperforming. He's been quick all weekend in an Alpine that has shown flashes of promise. Now he finds himself climbing into 4th place. A massive boost not just for him, but for a team still hungry for their first points of the season. Confidence is growing in that garage, and for good reason. Meanwhile, all eyes shift to Piastri again. He's still in the mix, still not safe. Russell is hunting him down, and Piastri knows he needs to hold nothing back in the final sector. That second sector, though, that's where McLaren has been lethal all weekend. Piastri extracts every ounce of performance from his car, threading the needle between caution and courage. Now he barrels out of the final turn. This is it. Everything hinges on this moment. The throttle is wide open, the steering wheel twitching as he chases his second career pole. The Delta looks good. He crosses the line. Yes, he's done it. Pole position. Again. A lap that was clinical, calm under pressure, and brilliantly executed. He edges out George Russell by just under 0.2 of a second. That's all it took. That tiny margin, that sliver of performance, is what separates pole from P2 on days like these. What about Norris? Can he salvage something from this session? He's got one more shot. The McLaren star, locked in a fierce title battle with his own teammate and Max Verstappen, needs to respond. But the time just isn't there. He pushes hard, but the car isn't biting the way he needs it to. He crosses the line and can only manage 6th. Carlos Sainz, always ready to pounce, sneaks in an improvement. He moves up to 8th, a gritty effort that keeps him in striking range but still short of the front runners. So here's the picture as the dust settles. Oscar Piastri takes his second career pole, his second of the season, and does so in commanding style. George Russell will start alongside him on the front row, a strong showing for Mercedes. Charles Leclerc lines up third, continuing Ferrari's resurgence. Pierre Gasly, in what is arguably his strongest qualifying session in a long time, will start from fourth. A revitalized Alpine is finally showing teeth. Lewis Hamilton claims fifth, solid and dependable. Behind him, the title contenders, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, are starting from 6th and 7th, respectively. Both with plenty of work to do, both with everything to lose. And quietly, almost unnoticed by the chaos at the front, 18-year-old Andrea Kimi Antonelli has broken into the top 5 for the very first time in a Formula One qualifying session. In only his 4th Grand Prix weekend, the young Italian has done what few expected so early. The Mercedes garage is ecstatic. His calm under pressure is drawing comparisons already to the greats. For Alpine, this is their strongest start to a weekend in 2025. Gasly's 4th place marks a turning point. After 3 disappointing outings, they're now dreaming of a top 5 finish and maybe, just maybe, their first points of the campaign. As the drivers return to the pit lane, Piastri's voice crackles over the radio. Calm but elated. Yes, baby. Great job. Really great job, everyone. He knows what this means. In a season that's already shaping up to be a brutal, close-fought war between McLaren teammates and Red Bull's champion, pole positions matter more than ever. And tonight, under the lights of Bahrain, Oscar Piastri has just thrown down the gauntlet again. Let the battle begin.